3rd down and 9. Huskies crowd roaring. They're going to run it up the middle. Horo breaks a tackle. 45-50. He's into Tech territory at the 45-yard line. Michael Horo with a huge run, and give credit to the right side of that line. Great blocking by Edward Bryant, Zach Slapnicker, and Sam Lofton. DU moves the chains with under 2 minutes to go. They'll spot it, move it. Only one timeout left. Actually, none for the Huskies, it says. And Panthers can go into kneel-down formation. Oh, my goodness. And with that, we welcome you to the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. I'm Rick Berkey, the head coach. Sparky McEwen are here. You hear the final seconds wind up as the Panthers improved to 4-2 on the season, and most impressively, 4-0 on the road. You win 4 games in a row in a season. That's quite an accomplishment. You've done it 4 for 4 so far, Coach.
4 for 4, and a tremendous amount of bus miles,
Yeah.
pizzas, subs, different hotels. It just tells you a lot about the football team that we have here, and these young men understanding how you have to go on the road and be extremely professional and businesslike and hostile environments. That was up there with last year in regards to how big that win was up in Houghton.
We're going to have one of your stars from your game Saturday. Antjuan Collins will join us a little bit later in the show, but impressive in another way, not only on the road, Coach, but you fell behind 14-7, and for a quarter and a half, you had virtually no offense. And then things turned around. What turned that offense around after a quarter and a half, do you believe?
You know, one of the things that we always talk about is that it's not a game of checkers. It's chess. And it takes time, to figure out what they're doing to you. And I felt like, our defensive staff did a tremendous job of, while we're getting ourselves together on offense, of pretty much picking things up over there for us and giving us a chance to assess what they're doing to us. And I felt like Coach Ruffing and Russell and Coach Hill and, Coach Grieco, they did a tremendous job of assessing what was going on and until our guys could, get that thing going. And, I couldn't be more excited about the big team win, that we had up there, because it was just that. It was a team win. Every facet of the game, from special teams to offense to defense to game management, just a tremendous amount of things went right in order for us to get that win.
In your previous 3 road wins and the final possessions there, it was the defense that stepped up, got the stops, and secured the win. This time, it was the other way around. The offense had the ball at the end, and as we heard in the highlights, you got some good key runs on 3rd down. Your offensive line paved the way. Michael Horo put in at quarterback just for those 3rd down running events, both successful, and you ran out the clock.
We did. It's, once again, the both of us have talked about this, that we've shown the ability to do some really positive things in different phases of the game. We've now shown the ability, against Central Missouri, to be quick strike and be efficient there. We've shown the ability to go out now against a really good Michigan Tech football team, and you guys will see as this season continues to unfold on how successful they'll continue to be. But to ground the ball out and hold the ball when they made a decision to kick it to us, for the offense to step up big there says a lot about what they're made of. And then defensively, our defense has just shown up. If you focus and you really, do a deep dive into Davenport football, we're a defensive-based squad. Everything we do, it's going to be because of what, our defense does there. And I can't say enough about, Coach Mack and Walker and, Rusty and Coach B, Bart. These guys, they really put in a lot of time, and they know our players and what they're capable of, and it just shows up, in the box score week in and week out with the statistics.
The back end of that defense was down a little bit, and you had a couple guys step up that, guys played more minutes than they normally play, and they really looked good.
Yeah, you got 2 all-conference guys out, of the lineup, and we had some other guys step up. And we always talk about player development. And, when you watch games, that are big games like that, and you see us make, some substitutions, Justin White you know, he was a little under the weather, you know, in that game, and I'm glad to have him back now. But, you know, we had Ralph step up in that game. And
Ralph Donaldson.
Yeah, man. And
young man, I thought he really played well.
He played big time, you know, and he's, he stepped up big. He's back from an injury, so we were just so happy to get him back at the time that we got him back. And he stepped in, you know, while his brother was down and, picked us up and got us rolling, you know. So big win for us up there, man. We got a lot of respect for that crew up there, and they got a lot of respect for us. And you want to talk about one of the harder-hitting football games that I've been associated with. It's right there with the powerhouses in regards to how physical that game was.
We talked about how that offense came together starting midway in the second quarter. Nobody more so, perhaps, than Mathis, quarterback, who really looked as comfortable throwing the ball as we've seen him all year.
I felt like, you know, he's really starting to get comfortable, you know, with our scheme, and he's seeing things. And if you look at his tape, you know, from when he first arrived here to now, it's night and day. Dewan's doing some really good things. He's doing some really good things, and I think you've seen that. You know, he's pretty accurate. If you watch him as a thrower, you know, he throws the back shoulder well. He throws the deep ball well. He throws the stop routes well, the deep comebacks well. And he's just now displaying his skills. You've seen it come out time and time again when he gets outside on those perimeter runs. You know, he's the second fastest guy that we have on the team, you know, so the guy that's the fastest is coming up here shortly.
Panthers win at 24-20, Coach, so you're 4-2. And again, another conference win on the road. So you've got it ready for Wayne State coming up 2 o'clock. Don't forget homecoming special start time, 2 o'clock because of homecoming this Saturday at home. Get out there, cheer on these Panthers, see if they can extend that win streak there and get things going even more so at home. We'll come back and talk to you later in the show, Coach, about Wayne State and the Warriors. So in the meantime, why don't you go have some of this great Uccello's food, and we'll chat with you in a bit.
All right.
Coach Sparky McEwen, we're going to have a special guest join us. One of the players, Antjuan Collins, will join us in just a little bit. So stay with us as the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in California rolls on. And we welcome you back to the Davenport Coaches Show. We talked about their exciting win up in Michigan Tech, 24-20. It didn't start out that great for the Panthers. Michigan Tech took the opening kickoff and drove 70 yards for the opening touchdown, and just like that, the Panthers were behind 7-0. The crowd was into it up at Tech. Momentum clearly on the side of the home team with a 7-0 lead. Panthers needed a spark. Fortunately, waiting at the goal line for the ensuing kickoff was Antjuan Jetpack Collins. Going to come down to Collins. Antjuan Collins will take it right at the 3-yard line to the 5-10 to the 15 to the outside. Got a seam to the 25-30. Antjuan Collins 40, 45, 50. Antjuan Collins to the sideline. 45, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown Davenport. Antjuan Collins from 97 yards out. And the Panthers strike back in a heartbeat. Technically, it was 96 yards when all said and done. Either way, it's a school record. No one's ever run a kick return back for that distance for a Davenport uniform before. And our first kick return for a touchdown in 8 years. So Antjuan Collins joins us right now. Antjuan, I've been talking with my color man at the games earlier this year. It seems like so many times you were just like one ankle away from busting one this year.
Yeah.
So what happened on that final one?
So basically on that final one, all week, Coach Walk, he said, we have to be special on special teams. And that's exactly what we did on Saturday. We had a great scheme drawn up. We watched countless, hours of film, even meeting on Google Meets, but that happened. And as soon as they scored, I told the kick return unit, let's just take one back to the crib, Let's just do that, and that's what we did. I had an amazing block by one of my brothers named Ethan Sutton. He definitely opened that hole up for me. I'm just glad that I got the opportunity to do that. Shout out to all my brothers on the kick return team.
And Jetpack, I hope you like the nickname. It's because it's going to stick now. But
yeah, I like that.
But you weren't done. You caught a pass over the middle from Antjuan and took it to the sideline, and you were gone. What point of that game? Tell me about that play. Tell me about that play. How that all developed.
Basically, same thing. We had a great play, dialed up, and me and Dwan, we made eye contact. After I seen the ball, released from his hands, I knew it was time to make a play. So made that play, and after that, it was just a foot race to the end zone.
You got some starts last year, but you got nicked up a little bit in the middle of the season last season, and but you've clearly taken a step forward this year, Antjuan.
Yes,
what do you think was most important part for you to make that next step up?
I would just say mindset. I just had to change my mindset about the trials, tribulations, all the adversity. That comes with life. That comes with the game. Coach Sparky says it the best. You respect the game, and the game will respect you back. So I just had to stay in the treatment room, keep staying healthy, and all that, just so all my abilities could show on the field and help my team win.
You're a North Carolina kid.
Yes, sir.
You went to Rocky River High School in Capitol Heights, Maryland. But North Carolina, not too far from there. Tell us about your high school days under Coach Orlando Gray. What Coach Gray taught you as a player and as a person, perhaps.
Yeah, as a player, he always told me respect and do everything to the best of your ability. He definitely molded me as the player I am today, as the man I am today, and I definitely am appreciative of that. On the field, he definitely poured in confidence to me, always pulled me to the side if I was having a tough game, and just always spoke, words of encouragement to me, and I always remember that.
Besides Coach Gray, was there another person maybe in your life that was really instrumental in you developing as a person and as a player?
Yeah. I had my receiver coach, Coach Washington. He also did the same. He was more of a big brother, slash mentor to me. We still talk, text, to this day. He always checks up on me, and, I always appreciate that.
You started out collegiately in the Carolina area at Winston-Salem. You were there for a couple years. Tell us how you learned about Davenport, how you were first contacted, and how you eventually decided to come up here.
Yeah. So out the transfer portal, honestly, I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't really have a lot of connections. I was praying to God every day. I'm very, big on faith, big on religion. And so I got this one call from my receiver coach, Coach Hill. He's telling me about the school, telling me how, the coach would like to have me up there. And, I genuinely felt like this was the place for me to be.
Did you make a visit before you committed, or did you just do it without coming?
No, sir. I knew this was where I was supposed to be.
Wow,
yes,
that's
sir.
Fantastic. Well, you're majoring in sport management. What are you thinking about doing with your degree once you're done with football, whenever that is down the line?
Yeah, once I'm done with football, I actually want my own gym for athletes.
Okay.
So I want a weight room. I want a turf field for all the athletes, wherever area I end up in, just to come, and in my head, it's going to be big enough for teams to use, just in case they need it. But it's just a broad idea, but I definitely would want.
Hey, hang on to that dream. It's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Where would you like to do? You want to go back home and have that?
Yeah, I would love to either North Carolina or Maryland, where I was from. Just anywhere where I feel where I'm accepted, where I'm right.
Antjuan Collins' favorite team, the Washington Commanders. Good year to be a Commanders fan.
Hey, I'm trying to tell y'all.
Jaden Daniels, I'm telling you. How
best
about
rookie quarterback in the draft.
He is having a phenomenal year. The Commanders, one of the stories of the year so far as well. What do you do for your own entertainment purposes when you're away from football, away from school? What do you do, Antjuan, just to enjoy yourself?
Just enjoy myself. I love, video games. Love doing that.
Who you play with your roommates?
Yeah, roommates.
Who are your roommates?
Well, my roommates right now is my man's Hakeem and Trey. But when I'm on the game, we go by Crash Out Crew. So it's me, Keith, Myron Harris, his brother Miles Harris. We all in the game, but that just builds, more team chemistry, team bonding.
Who's the best video player in your group? They
I'm the
always say.
I'm the best.
I asked that question.
Right
they
now.
always say I'm the best. They always
say.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this team now. Again, 4-0 on the road. That's really impressive, but they haven't got a home win yet. But how do you assess the season so far as a team?
Yeah, as a season so far as a team, we know for a fact we can compete with whoever, wherever, and, whatever time. We showed it. We showed a glimpse of it, at Central Missouri as well as Grand Valley. How, it just be a couple plays that we wish we could have back to, have a better outcome in the game. But, we're real excited. We know this game is important to us just because it's the next game. Like you said, we haven't won at home yet. So we're just looking for the win.
Antjuan, tell us about your family. Where's your family?
Yeah, my family, they're watching right now. Hey, family. They back in North Carolina right now. They're all doing good. We're all doing safe. They also do come to the home games.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
They're going to be up here this week?
Yes, sir, they will.
Oh, yeah, homecoming, beautiful weather we're supposed to have.
Yes, sir.
Safe trip up, folks, and back, of course. Right. Yeah. Antjuan, it's great to have you here. Jetpack is your new nickname.
Jetpack. I appreciate you.
Because that's what he's like. When you saw him returning that kick return and that reception for a touchdown, it was like he had a jetpack on his back. Antjuan, we look for good things for you down the road and beyond Davenport.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break, come back. We're going to talk a little women's golf here on the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccellos in Caledonia. Stay with us. And we roll on with the Davenport Coaches Show from Uccellos in Caledonia. Stop out here sometime, anytime. They've got 15 or 20 large screens. They've got baseball on here. They've got other kind of sporting events all over the place. They got volleyball on a couple of screens. And the food is phenomenal here, Uccellos in Caledonia. And the service is fantastic. They have great waiters and waitresses and great bartenders, so stop out and they'll make it a good time. We're going to switch gears now from football to women's golf. Jessica Niemiec is the head women's golf coach here. Her first-year head coach. She was an outstanding player at Davenport from 2017-21 when she's not only an outstanding player, she got her master's in those 5 years in marketing. In fact, she was a 3-time All-GLIAC Academic All-Excellent and a 3-time Women's Golf Association All-American Scholar. Obviously, Jess, academics a big part of what you stand for in your program. Tell us about that.
Yeah, our academic game is better than our golf game, in my opinion. That's something that our program really focuses on, and at the level of play that we have, having both an academically amazing team and also our successes on the course, we're able to balance those, and the returners really are the ones that kind of continue that culture that's been created of our main focus, we always say that you're a student first when it's student athlete. So if you're not being successful in the classroom and using that diligence that we learn on the golf course in the classroom, then we're not going to be successful on the course either.
Is that part of your recruiting philosophy? Tell us a little bit how that blends in when you're out recruiting future Panthers.
Yeah, definitely. This was my first year kind of being involved in the recruiting process, but it was, something that's certainly a focus. If you can find someone that's also diligent in high school, you don't have to teach that so much when they're coming here, when they have that drive and that commitment.
Jess, you led into my next question. Besides recruiting, what's been the biggest jump for you becoming a head coach, the biggest change, and maybe something that kind of surprised you that you didn't think would be that big a deal?
I think the biggest change is all of the back end things that you have to do, on the course. That's kind of my home. That's where I'm comfortable. I'm able to take what I learned last year and from being a player and kind of apply that. But the biggest jump has been, all the back end of things that you don't realize as a player that your coach has to do to kind of manage the team and keep everybody on the right path. All the little things that you have to do that I had no idea that Melanie was doing for me. So I really appreciate her insight on that.
Yeah, she's referring to Mallory Lowen, who she played under, who was the head coach before this year. You're having a great season in your first year as head coach. 3 third-place finishes, 1 second-place finish. And the last week at the Davenport Invitational, hosted in Augusta, was another second-place finish. Tell us about how this team's come together on the course.
Yeah, I definitely think that I was set up for success with Melanie. She really set me up with a great team culture that we have drive and we're hungry for it. I think a lot of times, you see teams kind of give up in the end, and we're really this season we started out a little bit slow in our first day appearances, and then we've had to kind of climb back. So it's really awesome to see that, we finally put 2 rounds together that we weren't having to kind of work harder on that second day. We worked hard both days and it worked out for us.
Jess, let's touch on a couple of your players. Freshman Venetia Chaps, not playing like a freshman. School record 3 under par last week?
Yes. Yep.
Tell us about her game. What makes her such a good golfer?
She's just consistent out there. I mean, if you look at her, you wouldn't be able to tell if she was 10 over or 3 under. She has the consistent attitude. She's very, very focused, very driven. Her work ethic is something that you can't really teach. It's ingrained in her personality, and I think it's translating to the other girls on the team as well. It's contagious.
Tylee Girding also played for you really well last week. Tell us about Tylee.
Tylee's been working really, really hard over the summer, and coming into this year, she was kind of on that cusp of being in our, 5 scorers. So it's really awesome to see that hard work that over the summer and during the season this year translate onto the course for her. She's been a really, really hard worker, and she's another one of those with a very consistent attitude as well.
Well, who I really wanted to ask you about was Tank and Daisy. Tell me about Tank and Daisy, your dogs.
Yes, I have a dog, Daisy. She has mega esophagus, so she has to eat in a high chair because her esophagus doesn't work. So
she eats in a high chair.
She does, kind of like a toddler does, because her esophagus doesn't work. So I spend a lot of time taking care of her. And then we have Tank. He's a golden doodle. He's just a normal little boy, but they are best friends, and they are my rocks.
That's fantastic. All right, you've got one more match this week, right?
Next weekend. Yep.
Next weekend, Friday?
Yes, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be at Kentucky Wesleyan.
Okay, tell us about what your hopes are, expectations are for that match, that weekend.
Well, we are hoping to place first in that. We are ranked highest out of the field, so rankings just came out today, actually, and we're 8th in the region. So I'm really hoping that this is our number 1 tournament here.
Too early to be taking a peek ahead at the postseason, or are you?
That's always been our goal. I don't think it's too early at all. I mean, we showed them last year. We kind of were a Cinderella story last year, and I think this year it won't be a question, considering how the team's playing and their culture and their dynamic and how everybody's working so hard, and we're finally seeing it translate. And I think I think it's not too early to think about postseason at all.
Fantastic. Well, Jessica Niemiec, you're doing a phenomenal job your first year as head coach of the women's golf team. We wish you the best in your next match and look forward to following your Panther program for a long time to come.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a break. Come back. Sparky will come back and join us. We're going to talk about this coming weekend's opponent. Homecoming Saturday, 2 o'clock at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex, Davenport and Wayne State. Stay with us on the Davenport Coaches Show. We continue with the Davenport Coaches Show, our final segment. Enjoyed visiting with Jessica Niemiec, talking some women's golf at Davenport. Now we're going to shift back to the football side of things. Homecoming game this Saturday, 2 o'clock against Wayne State. The team that's having a tough season so far, but you've been around too long to not think anything other than favorable contact that you know you're going to get from Wayne State. They're going to play hard. They're going to be there right from the get-go.
When you take a look at the film, it shows you immediately that he's already putting his stamp of approval on this football team. And, you know, we're on the schedule that they've played thus far, okay? Number one, it's the toughest schedule in the country. We're the second worst football team on their schedule. He's played conference champions, teams that's been in second place. And between us and Michigan Tech, everyone's been better than both our teams. And they play those teams extremely tough. They play Tech tough. You know, they just played against the, you know, two-time back-to-back, you know, national champions and the powerhouse.
Fair State?
Yeah, they played them tough. And you know, I saw Tony's post game, and I know Tony, and I could just tell by his interview that that team that Tyrone has there, he's doing some good things with them, and the future's bright, and they're going to come up to the farm, and it's just going to be a GLIAC battle. You know, it's going to be a GLIAC battle, and my guys know, based on how we went to work on Tuesday, where my thoughts are on this, and nothing but a lot of respect for the team that he's putting together and the talent that he has there, and scheme. They're different now. They're different from last year, so this is going to be a much different team than last year.
Coach Tyrone Wheatley's squad, you mentioned the strength of schedule. Their team, their record against the opponent's record they played so far are 20-10 so far this year. That shows that as well. Coach, you mentioned a different scheme. What are they doing? Are they running more? Are they passing more? What are they doing different than schematically and maybe on defensive side also?
Well, they're trying to stabilize, you know, things on both offense and defense. They've had a number of moving parts. And, you know, the biggest thing for me is, you know, I don't care what scheme you run, but they've upgraded their athletes. Okay, they've got guys, you know, on the front end, the back end that can really run. And then all of a sudden you throw in a scheme that suits their athleticism. You know, it's one that a lot of similarities to who we are, to be honest with you. You know, so we have no doubt. We have no doubt in our mind that this is going to be another classic war. Definitely so, and they're getting better. And sometimes when you look at a team's record that way, you can kind of see a drop off in some of their effort. Man, the Bulldogs went over there and they gave the Bulldogs everything they wanted. I know the game was played in 2 days, but that says even that much more about Wayne State. They could have, tanked it and not played well the second day, but they did. They played tough, and obviously the resiliency of the Bulldogs and being the championship pedigree got them through it. But now it just showed me a lot about what type of beast is getting ready to come in here to farm.
Quarterback Champ Edwards, a legitimate dual threat quarterback for the Warriors.
Yeah, he is. He's similar to DeJuan a little bit in regards to the type of athleticism that he has and in regards to his speed. And the nice thing is he's got some bigger body receivers on the perimeter. Like I said, and then they got a couple of big backs as well. They're built a lot like us. It's almost a mirror image to us, So, and then on the defensive side of the football, once again, a lot of similarities, athletic, secondary, linebackers right now is the anchor, to that football team and some of the things that they're doing. So this is going to be one of those games, man. It's going to come down to discipline. It's going to come down to least amount of turnovers and just flat out executing under some pressure.
So again, it's a 2 o'clock start. A little bit of change in routine. Does that change much for what you do game day with that 2 o'clock stagger?
I mean, what's routine to us this year?
Well said.
I'm so happy just to be home. They could start this game at 4 o'clock p.m. We're just happy to be home because it's been a long time, on this road.
Your two dogs missed you. I know that.
Oh yeah, I'm back now for them.
All right, Coach. A couple of keys that you're looking for going into this Wayne State game.
A couple of the keys for me is that we've got to continue to grow as a football team. Okay, I really feel like this team is ready to take another step and a step in a direction that, this team must solidify who they are. Okay, offensively, we've had some inconsistencies. I feel like we're getting really, really close, to establishing, a system where, our defense can feel good about what we're doing on that side of the ball. And then defensively, even though we're playing good football, there's times that we're on the field a little too long. We'll allow teams to convert some of those third downs. We're playing excellent red zone defense, but I like to see them step up on that side of the ball and not allow so many, third down conversions. And the special teams continue to grow. Our guys understand how huge this game is, so there's much respect for our opponent, and we know we still got a lot of work to do.
All right, make your plans if you haven't already to not only get out there, get there early. It's going to be a gorgeous Saturday afternoon at the Farmers Insurance Athletic Complex. Don't forget, 2 o'clock kickoff. Get there early, have some fun and tailgating beforehand as well, and then cheer on the Panthers as they try to make it 2 straight here and really make a statement to the rest of the GLIAC about the future season for them. I want to thank our special guest tonight, Antjuan Jetpack Collins, who joined us earlier tonight. And, of course, Jessica Niemiec, the head women's golf coach here. Nice visiting with her and learning a little bit more about her program. So for Coach Sparky McEwen, I'm Rick Berkey saying thanks for joining us, and go Panthers.